Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Real Time, where we talk about the movies we like.
And the ones we don't.
I'm Tyler.
And I'm Molly.
Today, we're going to be getting into the Batman movies by Tim Burton and Joel Schumacher.
Yep.
Yeah, so this series had a strange road. So we're going to start at the beginning with Tim Burton's 1989 movie Batman.
Batman.
Okay.
It's making it more.
More what?
I can't think of the word. Just keep going. I don't even know.
Okay.
I don't know
So,
what I'm doing.
this movie stars Michael Keaton as Batman, who was famously, he was famously hated for the role when he was announced as Burton's pick for it. A lot of people just couldn't see him in the role of Batman, which I feel like that's kind of a plus, given that you wouldn't expect this guy to be Batman.
Yeah. And I mean, looking back, we obviously know he's great, so it kind of seems weird that people would be so against it, but I guess at the time it was weird. What had he been in previously?
Beetlejuice and Mr. Mom.
Okay. So, yeah, so I guess I could see why some people may have been concerned, but he did fine.
Look, we've had two other actors in the last decade alone who, when they were announced as Batman, that being Ben Affleck and Robert Pattinson, instantly shut the haters up when their movies actually came out.
Yeah. I always knew Robert Pattinson could do a good Batman.
So maybe at this point we should, for lack of a better word, let them cook.
Yeah, just let them do their thing. They're good actors. They'll be fine.
Yeah, Michael Keaton, like I said in our video on Beetlejuice, I feel like the key to having a good Batman is having an actor who could easily play Batman or the Joker. Michael Keaton has proven that time and time again.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Speaking of the Joker, we have Jack Nicholson as the Joker. He's a little different from his comic counterpart. In fact, this is one of my bigger problems of the movie, but I'll get there when I get there.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But none of the problems have to do with Jack Nicholson's performance in itself. It's just how the character is dealt with, how they treat him. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Well, but like I said, we'll get there. Kim Basinger plays Vicky Vale, a reporter hot on the trail of Batman. She comes to Gotham to learn more about him, find out what's going on. She wants to pick his brain, you know?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Robert Wool plays Alexander Knox, a local cub reporter who's kind of a goofy ass dude, but I like this. I like this goofy ass dude.
Yeah, he's a little goofy.
Fun fact, though, Robert Wool would appear as Alexander Knox on the CW's Arrowverse's Crisis on Infinite Earths as Alexander Knox.
All right.
Pat Hingle plays Commissioner Gordon. I don't really like Commissioner Gordon in these movies. He's
Incompetent.
Like,
Yeah.
he doesn't get it as bad in this movie. Like, sure, he's a little out of practice. He's a little maybe complacent, but you could tell he's trying his best. But it just gets worse as the movies go on. The best thing you could say about him is that he always has Batman's back whenever things seem like they might go pear-shaped for him in the media. But this Gordon he just doesn't do it for me.
Yeah, he definitely could have been treated better, because he just kind of seems like he just can't do as much, and
He seems useless.
yeah.
Thankfully, we get better adaptations of this character from Gary Oldman, J.K. Simmons, and Jeffrey Wright.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Billy D. Williams plays Harvey Dent. Now, it was intended that he was going to be playing Two-Face later on, but that didn't happen. He was replaced by Tommy Lee Jones, but it's okay. Billy D. Williams still got paid.
Hey, as long as you get paid.
Michael Goff plays Alfred Pennyworth, Batman's butler and father figure, and I got no complaints here. He's awesome as Alfred. I love him.
Yeah, he's a very good Alfred.
There hasn't been a bad Alfred casting, I think. Michael Gough, great. Michael Caine, fantastic. Jeremy Irons, wonderful. Andy Serkis, also great.
Yeah. Alfred's just a good guy to be.
Jack Palance plays Jack Grissom, the mob boss. There's not really much to his character, but it's nice to see Jack Palance in things. He's a very intense actor.
Mm-hmm.
I love him.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not familiar with him, but yeah.
He was the bad guy in Shane. Oh, that's right. You haven't finished that.
No. Did we start it one day?
We did.
Okay, I don't remember that.
It was the one thing your dad and I ever agreed on, that we both liked the movie Shane.
Huh, all right.
Tracy Walter plays Joker's right-hand man, Bob. Fun fact about this. This actor is actually a friend of Jack Nicholson, who got the role when Jack said that he wouldn't play the role of the Joker unless his friend got in the movie too.
Nice.
That's pretty neat of him.
The baby woke up.
It's okay. We'll take care of her when we have to.
Yeah. We'll just talk quietly and maybe she'll go back to sleep.
Yeah, that's not happening.
I'll talk quietly.
Speak up.
Okay, fine.
And those are all of our main players, pretty much.
All right.
So, you said that this was your first time watching it in a while. So what are your general thoughts?
It's pretty good. I think sometimes it could be a little slow for me, but I like Michael Keaton's Batman, and the characters are fine. So it's pretty okay.
Yeah, I agree. It can be a little slow at times, and just getting this out of the way, I'm going to talk about the things that I don't like about this movie, because they are pretty far and few between when it comes to in comparison to the things that I like. Yeah, the characterization of the Joker is something I don't really care for in this movie. He's in this movie he's a mob guy. He's the right-hand man of Grissom, and he gets screwed over because of his affair with Grissom's lady friend. And then later on, he tries to make the moves on Vicky Vale. Why is he really interested in Vale? That doesn't make much sense.
Yeah, it's kind of weird that he directs all his attention towards her for some reason. Yeah.
Yeah, like he wants to get her attention, run off with her, sort of. He's trying to get all this attention, and he thinks that she's going to be the best way of showing everyone what he's like. And I just don't really like this characterization of the Joker. It doesn't really mesh with the comics at all.
Yeah, I agree. From what I know about the comics, I don't really read them, but yeah.
There is also him being the one who kills Bruce Wayne's parents in this movie, which I don't hate it. I don't love it either. It's a different choice, but I'm neutral towards it, honestly.
Yeah. I don't really care. It doesn't really affect me at all.
It does add another layer of connection between these two, which I feel like throughout the course of the movie, these two meet in basically every one of their personas. Batman and the Joker, Batman and Jack Napier, Bruce Wayne and Jack Napier, Bruce Wayne and the Joker. Like, you get the sense that there is a sort of rivalry building up between these two. But I feel like, even though, yes, we do get this sense of rivalry, I feel like it could have been done a little bit more. Yeah,
I agree.
And ultimately, I'm not too sure on the Joker's plan. It's because he starts by killing off a whole bunch of people with poison makeup, soaps, and products like that. But we don't get a sense of like why he's doing it. Like it doesn't make sense for him to do this at all. It doesn't mesh with his mob takeover, and it doesn't really. I don't get it.
He just likes to create chaos.
Yeah, I guess, but I don't know. There was a point to the other Joker's chaos, at least. With Cesar Romero, he's just this goofy-ass dude. He's a prankster. And honestly, the comics that the 60s show was based on weren't really too... They were... The Joker of those comics was really a practical jokester anyway, so it makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
With Heath Ledger's Joker, he's trying to spread anarchy and chaos to show everyone that deep down they're just like him. Makes sense. Jared Leto, he's trying to get Harley back. Yeah, whatever. And with Joaquin Phoenix's Joker, he's trying to show the world what it's like to be treated like him. I'm sorry. I just don't. This Joker's plan doesn't really. Maybe I'm just not understanding it. Maybe others got it more than I do, but I just don't get it.
No, I mean, I see what you're saying because, yeah, his plan does seem a little like there is no plan. He just does a bunch of different things, and, yeah, we don't really know his motivations, I guess.
Like, yeah, the Joker in the comics, he's a wild card. He'll do whatever he pleases, but despite what he says, he has a plan. He has some sort of, like, he has a sort of methodology to his madness that he's trying to do. I just don't see it here.
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay, let's move on to another one of my problems with this movie. I feel like the story is a bit slow moving at times. And I feel like there could have been a bit more faithfulness to the source. Like, the tone of the movie is fine. No problems there. But I feel like some of the characterization, in addition to the Joker, is a bit off. Like, for instance, Bruce Wayne is a bit too eccentric for my liking. Not too much, mind you, but just a hair too much.
I don't know.
I feel like he should be a bit more suave, a bit more socially graceful. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I guess so.
Now he would get better at that throughout the movie. So I guess I can't complain too much over a character arc.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Actually, yeah, that's a bit all I have.
Yeah. Okay. Not too bad then.
Now, what do I like? Basically everything else. I said that Bruce Wayne is a bit too eccentric for my taste, but honestly, Michael Keaton's performance pulls it off well.
Yeah, he does give a very good performance.
And you do get the intent with this version of the character is he's a bit more of a recluse. He's a bit more that rich guy who just hangs out in his house all day but doesn't really do much. Though he had a seat at the press conference for Harvey Dent earlier in the movie. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
Anyways, the performances in this movie are spot on. Michael Keaton, Jack Nicholson, Kim Basinger, Billy D. Williams. Everyone is just, they're doing fantastic.
Yeah, I would have to agree with you.
Even with side characters that aren't the most developed, they're fine enough.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I feel like Tim Burton's direction in this movie is one of his best.
Yeah.
He really has a knack for dealing with tortured, misfit characters, as we've seen with his characters like Pee Wee Herman, Ed Wood, Edward Scissorhands, Sweeney Todd, just to name a few.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like Tim Burton gets these characters, like he understands them.
Yeah, I would have to agree.
There's something about them that really, really speaks to him. But I guess that's why he's every goth's favorite director.
Yeah. When you understand your characters and care about them, you tend to direct them pretty well.
Yes. So, This is interesting, actually. One of the creators of Batman, Bob Kane, approved of the twist of Joker being the one who killed Batman's parents. He said that he wished he thought of it himself.
Oh, so there you go.
Yeah, I guess if the creator's okay with it, then that's fine.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well, one of the creators. Bill Finger was the one who came up with a lot more of the mythos of Batman. Bob Kane took credit for a lot of it.
Okay. What next?
Jack Nicholson has said that the role of the Joker is his favorite of all time because it was the least limiting creation he did. He had a lot of freedom to do whatever he wanted, basically.
Oh, well, that's nice.
The huge paycheck he got also probably helped.
Yep, that would be nice.
He ended up making around $90 million for this movie.
Oh, yeah, that would make me happy too.
Let's see. Okay, so Tim Burton has he has some issues with this movie too. He says that he liked parts of it, but the whole movie is mainly boring to him. It's okay, but it was more of a cultural phenomenon than a great movie. He wasn't really too enthusiastic about how Prince's songs were used in the movie. I'm of two minds about the Prince songs in this movie.
All right, what are your thoughts?
On the one hand, they do date the movie pretty severely to the 80s. Like, you could tell when those songs come on when this was made.
Yeah, that is true.
On the other hand, they're all bangers, so I don't mind too much.
Yeah, I'm on the same boat. They're nice, but yeah, they're very 80s.
So, according to Joel Schumacher, Tim Burton wanted out of this franchise and was relieved when Schumacher took over.
Oh, okay.
Danny Elfman was overall pleased with his score for the movie, which we haven't even talked about. Danny Elfman's music for this movie. This is Danny Elfman's best work, I think. His work on Batman.
Yeah, I mean, the main Batman theme here is really recognizable, and it's pretty awesome.
Yeah, just put it on while you're driving, and it makes you feel like Batman.
Don't speed while you play this song in your car.
Batman speeds.
No. Batman's probably a really, really good driver.
Batman's probably driving with no insurance.
Well, he has money, so it's okay.
Yeah, with his Bat credit card.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Anyways. Okay, so Danny Elfman was overall pleased with his score for the movie, but he wasn't really too enthusiastic about how it was mixed into the movie.
Oh, yeah?
Which I kind of agree at certain points. At the end of the movie, when Batman's fighting the Joker goons in the bell tower, I don't really like the music that was used in it. It just seemed like it didn't fit.
I'm going to be honest, I don't remember the music.
It was sort of like wedding music, which is, I guess, sort of made sense given that they were in a church, but still, it didn't fit with the actual fighting of the movie, like Batman fighting all these goons.
Yeah. I don't know. I guess that was a weird choice.
Apparently, a lot of fans were upset about Alfred letting Vicky Vale into the Batcave.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really have too much of a problem with this.
I don't either.
Because we see that Bruce is was already trying to tell Vicky that he's Batman, so Alfred was just moving it along a little faster.
He's just being a wingman.
Wingman. Now, granted, I feel like Bruce was a little, caught off guard to see her in there because, it's one thing to tell her that you're Batman, but it's another thing to be like, oh, hey, this is the Batcave.
Yeah. I guess she would have to believe you, though. If she walks into the Batcave and sees you there, there's no questioning that.
Bob Kane also personally vouched for Jack Nicholson to play the Joker, which I don't know why you wouldn't. Jack Nicholson is definitely one of the finest actors of all time.
Yeah, he is.
Okay. Michael Keaton hated the Batsuit because he suffered from claustrophobia. Uh, but Burton and Keaton decided that it would enhance his performance, which it did.
Yeah. The suit does seem very restrictive in the neck area.
Yeah, he can't turn his neck.
Yeah, I could tell.
He tried to do it at one point, but he broke the cowl.
Oh no.
So what he did was he came up with a patented bat turn, where he turned his whole body in order to look somewhere else.
Yeah. Yeah, you can definitely tell that throughout the movie.
This would actually become a point of a bit of an in-joke when it comes to Batman costumes. When it came to The Dark Knight, Christian Bale also wanted to be able to turn his head, so that got worked into the movie when Batman got a new suit in the movie.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Also, when Ben Affleck was cast as Batman, he ran into Christian Bale in a costume store. They were both getting costumes for their kids, and he asked Christian Bale for any advice for being Batman, and Christian Bale told him two things.
What were those things?
Make sure you're able to turn your head, and make sure you can piss in the suit.
Yeah, that would be important.
Yeah, very important.
Don't pee in the suit, but be able to take it off to pee. I assume.
I'm assuming that's what he meant.
That's what I'm assuming.
So the Ace Chemicals set where Jack Napier becomes the Joker, this set was previously used as the home of the Alien Queen in Aliens.
Oh, pretty cool.
Yeah, and if you look closely, you can actually see bits of webbing from that movie still hanging around.
That's funny.
On the set, Jack Nicholson and Michael Keaton became pretty close friends.
Yeah, well, I would assume so.
And Nicholson did the same with Tim Burton, since he brought him back to be in Mars Attacks.
Oh, nice.
And I'm assuming this was also true for Keaton and Burton, but they had previously worked on Beetlejuice together.
Yeah, so they're already acquaintances.
And Keaton would go on to work with Burton again on Batman Returns, Dumbo, Beetlejuice, and possibly more movies, I'm sure.
Oh, probably.
I don't know. Let me just take a look. Stall for me real quick, please.
Okay. I'm trying to think of Tim Burton. Did Tim Burton do Big Fish?
He did,
Okay.
but Michael Keaton was not in there.
I was trying to think if he was.
We got an even sexier star, though, in Danny DeVito.
Yes, that's true. We do see his bare bottom in that.
Bare bottom.
Yep.
Even though he's playing a werewolf.
Ha.
His wolf bottom.
Yeah, his wolf bottom.
Those seem to be the only ones that they were in. They did together.
Oh. But still, yeah, they've worked a lot together.
Okay, this movie's soundtrack by Prince is the one and only album that Prince recorded under Warner Brothers. He wasn't able to secure the rights of the master tapes to, as a result of a contractual agreement to make the soundtrack. Prince had to sign the rights to the album over to Warner Brothers directly.
That sounds confusing.
Point is, he can't put any of the songs of this that he did for this movie on any of his best of compilations. But he was able to perform them live at concerts while he was still alive, so that's something, I guess.
I guess. Seems a little unfair, but sure.
Yeah, Warner Brothers is trying to keep the purple one down.
Yeah.
This restriction would stick until almost immediately after his death, when Bat Dance was included on his posthumous compilation Forever.
Okay. Nice.
Okay, Sean Young was originally cast as Vicky Vale, but was injured in a horse riding accident prior to the filming, which made her drop out. Young would eventually go on to visit the production offices dressed in a homemade Catwoman costume, wanting to audition for Batman Returns before they escorted her off the premises.
I don't even know who that is.
Actually, I'm not even sure if you've seen anything she was in, so I can't. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, that name is not familiar to me, so I cannot picture her.
Yeah, I haven't made you watch Blade Runner yet.
No, not yet.
Okay. So, you could probably guess that other actors were considered for these roles.
I would imagine so.
The first choice to play Bruce Wayne was Pierce Brosnan, actually. but he turned it down due to his lack of interest in playing a comic book character at the time. Funnily enough, though, Brosnan would eventually play Dr. Fate in Black Adam.
Yep.
Mel Gibson was also approached, but he turned it down due to scheduling conflicts to Lethal Weapon 2.
Yeah.
Harrison Ford, Kevin Costner, Charlie Sheen, Tom Selleck, Dennis Quaid, and Bill Murray were also all considered.
That is interesting.
Robin Williams was offered the role of the Joker before Jack Nicholson took the role. He was pretty hesitant to take it. But they ended up using Williams as sort of a bait to get Jack Nicholson.
All right.
Let's see. The producers told Jack Nicholson that Robin Williams was going to take the role if he didn't. So that basically got Nicholson in gear to take it.
Yeah. Nice.
So Williams was pretty upset about this, to the point where when Warner Brothers asked him to play the Riddler in Batman Forever, he turned it down, and he refused to be in any Warner Brothers movie until the studio apologized to him.
All right. This seems like an overreaction, but okay.
Seeing the stupid ass behavior Warner Brothers has engaged in recent years, I'm fine with it.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't bother me at all.
We're looking at the company who'd rather scrap entire finished products than release them just to get a tax write-off. As far as I can tell, as far as I'm concerned, I'm not going to be upset at anyone being petty to them.
Fair enough.
John Lithgow also read for the role of the Joker, but he didn't think he was right for the role, and he persuaded Tim Burton not to cast him.
Please don't cast me.
Which I feel like he could have been interesting. An interesting choice, not the best choice, but definitely an interesting one.
Yeah, I guess so.
Also considered for the role were David Bowie, Willem Dafoe, Brad Dourif, James Woods, and Tim Curry.
Yeah, those are some interesting picks.
Like I said, Tim Curry would later go on to be cast as the character in Batman the Animated Series, but was replaced by Mark Hamill due to him coming down with bronchitis, his voice being too similar to Captain Hook and Peter Pan and the Pirates, and being considered too scary for younger viewers.
Wow.
That's badass, man.
Oh, yeah.
Love it when kids get scared.
No, my.
Don Johnson, Dale Midkiff, Martin Sheen, and William Peterson were also considered for the role of Harvey Dent. So Tim Burton is very clearly going for some colorblind casting here.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
Kiefer Sutherland was offered the part of Dick Grayson before the character was written out. Dick would later appear in Batman Forever, played by Chris O'Donnell.
All right.
The Coen brothers, David Cronenberg and Joe Dante, were all approached to direct this movie before Tim Burton got the job.
Pretty cool, yeah.
Prince's soundtrack was originally going to be a collab between him and Michael Jackson.
All right, pretty cool.
According to Prince, he would have provided funk songs sung from the Joker's perspective, while Jackson would have recorded ballads from Batman's point of view, but Jackson had to turn it down due to prior concert commitments.
Yeah, which that could have been pretty cool, but also, yeah, that's very 80s.
Yeah, very 80s, but could have been really fun.
But yeah, it could have been.
John Williams was considered to compose the score before Danny Elfman was hired, and honestly, I feel like Danny Elfman was the right choice.
Yeah, I guess so.
You know, John Williams is probably the greatest composer of all time, in my opinion. But I feel like I'm not sure if he's ever done like a noir, dark, gritty sound score like this, while also being loud and bombastic at the same time.
I don't know. But I mean, I'm sure he could have.
Yeah, I'm sure he could have. He could have done it, but Danny Elfman was the right choice. John Williams already did a great job with his Superman score, though, so he could put that on his resume. Yeah,
like he needs a resume.
just watch basically any movie made in the last 50 years. That's his resume.
Yep.
Burton had stated that he wanted Adam West and Julie Newmar to play Thomas and Martha Wayne in the flashback of them getting shot.
That would be very cool.
His way of thinking was that audiences would recognize them from the series, and seeing them get shot would symbolize the death of the old Batman and, the birth of the new one.
Oh, I just thought it would be a fun cameo.
West later said that he wasn't offered the role.
Oh, so he must have not pursued that very far.
And even if he was, he said he wouldn't have taken it.
Fair enough.
Although West and Newmar would voice those two characters in an episode of Batman the Brave and the Bold that did have Batman's backstory in that episode.
Pretty cool.
Vicky Vale and Knox were originally supposed to be killed off in earlier drafts of the movie.
Okay.
When they were shooting the movie, they were still planning to kill Knox off, but the crew really loved Robert Wuhl's performance, so they decided to let him live.
I guess he was just really likable.
Yeah, I like Knox. He's a goofy dude, but he's fine. He's fun.
Yeah, he is.
Okay. Okay. In Christopher Reeve's only convention appearance after his near-fatal horse riding injury the following year, Christopher Reeve revealed that he pitched an idea for this movie in which he would have reprised his role as Clark Kent from his Superman movies.
Can you say that again? I guess I wasn't following.
Christopher Reeve pitched an idea of him making a cameo in this movie as his Superman.
Oh, okay. I don't know what, my brain was not following what you were saying. But yeah, that would be cool.
Which would have set this movie in the same universe as the Donner Superman movies.
Okay, yeah.
It could have been interesting.
It could have been.
Yeah, so I feel like that we've said pretty much all there is to need. There needs to be said about Batman '89. It was a groundbreaking comic book movie that proved that audiences want more of this. Because remember, at the time, there wasn't a whole lot of superhero movies being made. You had the Christopher Reeve Superman movies. That's about it.
Yeah, not a lot.
Yeah, Marvel wasn't doing very many either. Their first movie was Howard the Duck, of all things. And they would have a Punisher movie come out the same year, but it wouldn't get a very wide release.
Oh well.
So yeah, this was the dark ages of comic book movies, but it would only go up from there. We get stuff like Wesley Snipes' Blade, Fox's X-Men, the Nolan Batman, the MCU, a whole bunch of stuff. So in a way, we have this movie and Christopher Reeve Superman to thank for everything we have today in terms of superhero movies.
Yeah, I guess so. Would you? They're all right. Hey, you know my thoughts on superhero movies.
Yeah, and I know your thoughts on Batman.
I like Batman, though.
But, well, I mean, in terms of your favorite being Adam West.
Yes, that is true.
So how does this stack up compared to that?
It's not bad. But, yes, I like Adam West better.
Well, if you prefer Adam West, then our next Batman movie is really gonna... Well, you'll see.
Yeah. Are we just watching the next one?
Yeah, Batman Returns.
Okay. That's the one with the penguin, right?
Yep.
Cool.
So, next, Batman Returns, in which Batman
returns. Cool. All right, let's go watch it.
All right, so Batman returned in Batman Returns, Tim Burton's second and so far final Batman movie. And was this your first time watching it?
No, but it was my first time watching it in a very, very long time.
Okay, so what was your impression of it?
It's all right, I guess. It has its problems, but it's definitely not the worst.
Yeah, I agree. But let's get into the cast real quick. Returning as Batman slash Bruce Wayne, we have Michael Keaton. This is over 30 years. This would be the last time until he appeared again in Andy Muschietti's The Flash.
Yep, long time.
Not quite as the same Batman slash Bruce Wayne, but close enough. Then we have our villains. In the role of the Penguin, we have Danny DeVito.
Very cool.
He would become a mainstay of Tim Burton's movies, appearing in Big Fish and Dumbo, among others.
Yep.
In Dumbo alongside Michael Keaton, so that's pretty fun. Though in that movie, their roles are reversed. In that one, Danny DeVito's with the good guys, and Michael Keaton's the bad guy, which he's shown a pretty good ability to play that in recent years.
Yeah.
Catwoman is played by Michelle Pfeiffer in a role that I'm sure welcomed a good amount of young men into puberty.
Well, I guess. I don't know.
But honestly, she is probably one of the more interesting characters in this movie, even though that's also part of the problem, but we'll get into that later.
Okay.
Christopher Walken plays Max Schreck, our third part of this villain trinity. Why can't I say words?
I don't know, man.
Max Schreck, of course, is the name of the actor who played Nosferatu in the original movie.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Now, in the comics, Max Schreck does not exist. He was made up for this movie.
All right. So there is no Max Schreck in the comics.
Correct.
You just worded that kind of funny. In the comics, he is not existing.
Well, yeah,
That's how you said it.
like Harley Quinn before the animated series.
Well, yeah. I'm just saying you worded it weird.
I'm saying, shush.
All right. We'll continue.
Michael Gough returns as Alfred, the faithful butler to Bruce Wayne, who is as good as ever and is probably one of the more consistent aspects of all four of these Burton Schumacher movies.
Yeah.
Pat Hingle plays Commissioner Gordon, and he is as useless as ever. The character, not the actor.
Yeah, his character does have he is one of the weakest Commissioner Gordons.
Yeah, as soon as things get a little hairy for the cops in this movie, he just says, "Call Batman." Come on.
Yeah.
We also get some appearances from some beloved character actors, such as Vincent Schiavelli, who plays one of the Penguin's goons, alongside the always beloved Doug Jones as another one of his goons.
Yep.
Paul Rubens and Diane Salinger play Penguin's parents. And if I had a nickel for every time Paul Rubens played the Penguin's dad, I'd have 2 nickels, because he played him on Gotham too.
I didn't see that.
It's just a funny little thing they decided to do.
Yeah. Gotta bring back the Penguin's dad, I guess.
Alright, so my main problem with Batman Returns is this doesn't really seem like a Batman movie. He feels more like a side character in his own story. Like, to me, this seems more focused on the Penguin and Catwoman, which, from the Catwoman side of things, yeah, she's an interesting character. I like seeing what she does, how she's trying to take a revenge on Shrek, and honestly, with these older Batman movies, the characters aren't 100% one-to-one. The characters from the comics, they adapt them in a sort of a different way, but they still more or less resemble the characters from the source.
Yeah, and I do agree with you. This movie does seem a lot more focused on the villains than Batman. So it is weird to call this a Batman movie. And not like a Penguin movie or something like that.
Yeah, which, funnily enough, years later, Danny DeVito would help write a Penguin comic for DC Comics.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah. But, yeah, this is the villain show, which, like we said previously, Tim Burton has a knack for dealing with the misfits and the forgotten and the outcasts of society, which, yeah, this was right up his alley. After the success he had with Batman 89, Warner Brothers basically gave him a blank check and said, "Do whatever you want."
Wow. Yeah. Yep.
So what we get is a very Tim Burton movie.
Yes, I do agree with that. It definitely has his style all over the place.
Yeah, which it's a good style. I like it for the most part. Sometimes, occasionally, it's hit or miss.
So you don't like it for the most part.
Shush.
All right.
I like it at times.
Yeah. Okay.
It's a weird thing to put into words. Like sometimes it works for me, but when it doesn't, it's just like, get out of here with your nonsense, Tim Burton.
Sure. Yeah.
Anyways, yeah, this. I don't feel like this really enhances the character of Batman or Bruce Wayne. Like we said, this is more of a villain movie. So this isn't really what if you're looking for more characterization from Bruce Wayne, this isn't the way to go. Place to look.
Yeah. Definitely not.
However, we still got some interesting things. This movie is more focused on the villains, which, thank God, all three of them are bringing their A game to it.
Yeah. Yeah, they're cool villains and they're fun to watch.
It's also funny to see the actor who plays Max Schreck's son is doing a Christopher Walken impression in front of Christopher Walken.
Yeah. Well, he had to sound like his son, I guess.
And we get some interesting character moments from probably the worst of these guys, Max Schreck. And when so we get the impression that this guy's just this ruthless businessman. He doesn't really care about anything or anyone but himself. But when the Penguin is trying to kidnap his son, he offers himself up in his place. So he's got tiny character moments here and there that prove he's a little bit more than just what we see.
Yeah, he's mainly a jerk, but he does have some good moments, I guess.
And a really funny moment was when he, quote unquote, kills Selena when he pretends like he's about to push her out the window, and then he does it anyways.
Yeah, he left it off as a joke at first, but then just pushes her out anyways.
Maybe I'm kind of a sick guy, but that's just funny to me.
Yeah, it was kind of funny.
All right, now would you like to know some trivia about this movie?
Sure. Give me some trivia.
So Christopher Walken came up with the idea of Max Schreck wearing cufflinks made of human molars. He got this from the Great Gatsby, the character Meyer Wolfsheim in that book, having those same cufflinks.
I don't remember that, but I'm sure you're right.
Danny DeVito stayed in character on set once his makeup was finished, and part of the Penguin's characterization in the movie was shaped from Danny DeVito's understanding of the character, as he is a fan of the character. And the black drool that he had was something that he and the makeup artist, Stan Winston, came up with while experimenting with his look with a combination of mouthwash and red/green food coloring in his mouth.
Oh.
Now, yeah, Penguin is actually where I have another problem. So we get our very first scene in the movie is him being abandoned by his parents. You know, we see Pee Wee Herman dump this ugly child in the Gotham River after we see him being kept in this cage that they just apparently had in case they had an ugly baby.
Yeah.
Is that just a thing that rich people have? Just a baby cage?
Yeah, which he's an evil baby too because he eats the cat or something.
Eats the cat.
So yeah, they keep him in a cage though, which is very mean.
Now we get some sense of sympathy for this character because he's trying to figure out why his parents abandoned him, which I guess I kind of can see why.
Yeah, it's not that mysterious.
But you still feel bad for the guy, and then you find out that he and the circus that he's been running with, which is kind of weird to me that the Penguin has clown goons when the Joker didn't. But yeah, whatever.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you can mark that up too. Yeah, his circus background.
Anyways, the Penguin and the circus have been kidnapping children for years. wherever they went, there would be missing children. Like, what happened to these kids? And then he goes and in order to find his birth parents, when he gets access to the Gotham archives or something, instead he just uses it to find the list of all the firstborns of the rich people in Gotham just so he can kidnap them. And he puts that plan on hold for a bit, but then he goes back to it and it's like, we're gonna kidnap all the firstborns of Gotham. Like, this is not your last resort. I feel like we could have more sympathy for this character if that was his last resort. Like, he got cast out by the rich, and now he's going to get back at them. Like, that would be a bit more of a sympathetic character, I think.
Yeah, because, I mean, the movie makes you want to feel sympathy for this character, but yeah, he just kidnaps kids, and it's like, that just makes me not like him.
Especially at the end, it's like when he dies, and he gets carried off into the water by his penguins, and, the general tone of the scene and the music makes us think we're supposed to sympathize with this character, but it's like, I don't really feel like that.
Yeah, he's killed multiple kids, so it's hard to feel sympathy for him during that moment.
Which also the aspects of his plan, like at one point he was going to sending all these penguins off to bomb the city, but then they get turned around just as soon as they come on screen. It's like, oh, okay, that's odd.
Yeah, that was odd.
He's like, he has all these different aspects to his plan, and then they just get shut down as like just as fast. It's like, what's the point of any of that?
I do not know.
Oh man.
What else? Were we on trivia and then we got distracted?
Yeah, we're going back to that.
Okay.
Okay, Michelle Pfeiffer really wanted the role of Catwoman, so she was kind of upset when Annette Bening was cast ahead of her, but then she had to drop out due to getting pregnant.
Yeah, that happens.
So she immediately contacted Tim Burton and got the role.
Nice.
Danny DeVito, same story. He was a big fan of the Penguin, and he really wanted the role.
Nice.
And the whatever complaints I have about his character, I have no complaints about Danny DeVito as the character.
Yeah, I know what you mean. He does a good job.
Now, Michelle Pfeiffer may have loved playing Catwoman, but she hated the costume, which, long story short, she had to get, they had to squeeze her into the costume with baby oil, and she was completely deaf while wearing it.
Yeah, that does not sound comfortable.
Tim Burton has said that he had a much better time making this movie as opposed to the original, which you could definitely tell by the amount of free reign he got.
Yeah. Which makes sense. If he has more free reign, he's gonna probably have more fun doing stuff then.
Okay. So another complaint I just remembered I have. How did the Penguin get the blueprints for the Batmobile? Like, we just see him with the plans in his, lair, and they're just able to perfectly hack into it and just mess everything up. Like, how did you get those plans? Where did those come from?
Yeah, I know what scene you're talking about, and yeah, that just kind of jumps to them with the Batmobile drawn up on their board or whatever, and yeah, I don't know how they got those blueprints.
Yeah, that's silly.
Yeah, it's a little silly.
The final shot of the movie where Catwoman was looking at the bat signal was a last-minute addition when test audiences really liked Michelle Pfeiffer as Catwoman, but it wasn't actually Michelle Pfeiffer in the suit. It was a mannequin.
All right.
McDonald's was set to release a Happy Meal toy tie-in with this, but they had to pull it due to the movie's very dark and violent nature.
Yeah.
I mean, compared to some of the stuff that we've seen in more recent Batman movies, I can kind of see where they're coming from and kind of not. Because, yeah, for the time, this would have been a really dark Batman movie, but now it's just whatever.
Yeah, now it doesn't really seem to be all that, like, oh my, that's so dark, because all of the recent Batman movies are pretty dark.
According to Michael Keaton, he's never actually watched the whole movie. He only took it because he needed money for a real estate deal.
Fair enough. You think you would have watched it, though, at least once?
I don't know, man.
I don't know either.
For the scene where the Penguin gets pelted by food by the mob, Danny DeVito didn't want to stand it, and he did it himself.
So he's just sitting there getting tomatoes thrown at him.
Yeah.
Nice.
Also, the scene where Catwoman knocks the head off of the mannequins with her whip, that was actually done by Michelle Pfeiffer, and on the first take, no less.
Oh. I didn't know she was really hitting him with the whip.
Yeah. She's, in recent years, during lockdown, during the pandemic, she found her whip, and she showed off that she still had the moves.
Nice.
Yeah.
Pretty cool.
Okay. So, there were other choices for these roles, of course.
Of course, there always is.
The first choice for the Penguin was Dustin Hoffman.
Yeah.
Yeah, could have been alright, but other choices were Christopher Lloyd, Christopher Lee, John Goodman, Alan Rickman, Bob Hoskins, John Candy, and Joe Pesci.
Yeah, I mean, I could see those all being, very different penguins, but I think Danny DeVito did it well because he's just, a short guy and the makeup looked good on him and he made it kind of creepy.
Yeah, of those other actors, I feel like Joe Pesci would have done the next best job.
That's what I was thinking too. He seemed, because he could play a good little devious guy.
Same thing with Bob Hoskins.
I don't really know who that is.
He was Smee in Hook.
Okay.
Annette Bening, like I said, was the original choice for Selena Kyle, but had to drop out due to pregnancy. But other choices were Sigourney Weaver, Brooke Shields, Gina Davis, Demi Moore, Meryl Streep, Nicole Kidman, and Susan Sarandon.
Interesting.
Nicole Kidman, of course, would go on to play Chase Meridian in Batman Forever, and Susan Sarandon would play Victoria Cord in last year's Blue Beetle.
Okay, yeah.
Oh. I'm kind of upset that they didn't go with this original choice for Max Schreck. David Bowie.
Oh, that would have been cool.
Love Christopher Walken in this role, but David Bowie would have been so awesome.
Yeah, that would have been fun.
He had to turn it down, though, due to prior commitments with Twin Peaks Fire Walk with Me.
I guess. All right.
Burgess Meredith was supposed to have a cameo as the Penguin's father, but he had to back out due to illness.
Oh, man. That would have been cool.
Yeah, kind of like how Adam West and Julie Newmar were the original choices for Thomas and Martha Wayne in the flashback in '89.
Yeah, that would have been nice.
The character Max Schreck was originally written for Harvey Dent, which explained the character's political ambitions.
Yeah, he seemed like a two-faced kind of guy.
Which he didn't appear in the movie, but they paid him nonetheless. So I guess he's okay with that, hopefully.
Yeah, sure.
The film would have ended with a cliffhanger with the explosion at the end only scarring half of his face.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
At one point, they were talking about having Jack Nicholson return as the Joker. No explanation for him having come back after his supposed death at the end of the first movie.
Oh, yeah. I don't know.
Man, I don't know.
I don't know.
At one point, Max Schreck and the Penguin were supposed to be brothers. The story would have gone that Penguin would have been the older brother who got, thrown away because he was, he looked the way he did, and then Max Schreck got what Penguin never had.
Yeah, that could have been interesting.
I feel like that would have been a more interesting movie.
Yeah, I think so. I think that would have been cool.
Overall, Batman Returns is, well, it's a Tim Burton movie more than a Batman movie, and for some that may be okay, but for me it's fine, I guess, but I would have preferred a more Batman-centered movie.
Yeah, it's all right. It definitely, yeah, whatever you feel. I can see how people would be disappointed because, yeah, Batman is kind of put on the back burner for this movie. But yeah, it is a very Tim Burton film.
Next, Tim Burton would be pushed out as the studio wanted a more lighthearted tone with the series, which they got with 1995's Batman Forever, directed by Joel Schumacher.
Yep, definitely different tone.
Yep, let's get into it.
All right, let's do it.
So, Batman Forever. Was this your first time watching this?
No, I thought you showed it to me one day.
I don't think we finished.
Oh, we may have not finished it then. So, this may have been my first time watching it all the way through.
Yeah, so what did you think?
Well, it didn't really hold my attention, and it was pretty goofy.
Pretty silly.
Yeah.
And you say that as a fan of the 60s series.
Yeah, it's just it's like they were trying to capture the 60s kind of, humor, but it didn't really do
It
what
didn't really mesh well?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think it really meshes well, considering this is supposedly in the same continuity as Batman 89 and Returns, which, you want to talk about whiplash, this is quite a bit different tone between that last one and this one. We go from this dark, gothic Gotham to this neon-filled green light one.
Yeah, everything is a lot more colorful right off the bat.
Now, replacing Michael Keaton in the role of Batman, we have Val Kilmer. Now, Val Kilmer and Joel Schumacher did not get along on set, which is why he didn't come back for Batman and Robin, which Val Kilmer has said that he was he doesn't like the person he used to be on set.
Oh, okay. So it may have been his fault just as well.
Yeah, he was a bit of a bad boy, which oh well.
Yeah.
Now, honestly, as in look, I hate to say this because I really do love Val Kilmer. He's one of my favorite actors, but I don't care for him as Bruce Wayne.
Yeah, I see what you mean.
Like, look, I get the intent. He's supposed to be this closed off individual. He doesn't let anyone in, which would be fine in a vacuum if it weren't for the previous two movies that showed him as bit of a more open individual. Like, sure, he's a bit of a recluse, but he knows how to be normal with people.
Yeah.
Here, he's just too stiff, too bland, too closed off,
Yeah, very bland, yeah.
Which, again, if this movie was its own thing, fine. That would work okay. But in taking into account the last two movies, it doesn't.
Yeah. I get it.
And him as Batman just seems a bit... What's the word I'm looking for? Like, not strong enough,
Yeah. It's definitely lacking.
But don't worry. He's not the only one lacking in this movie.
That is true, yeah.
We have Tommy Lee Jones replacing Billy D. Williams as Harvey Dent, who becomes Two-Face at some point in between movies. And I can see why they went with Tommy Lee Jones. I mean, he looks identical to Billy D. Williams.
Yeah, sure.
Wait, no, he wore a completely different suit in this movie. Illusion ruined.
Yeah, that's the only thing. Yeah.
He has different hair, too.
Yeah.
In the scenes where we see him as Harvey Dent. You know what? You lost me, movie. Get out of here.
Yeah, it's crazy.
But anyways, Yeah, he's just too goofy for me. I don't like Two-Face in this movie, and not in the way that I'm supposed to not like him. He just irritates the hell out of me.
Yeah, I'm pretty much on the same page as you. He's yeah, just too goofy. And not goofy in the way I like.
Yeah, like Tommy Lee Jones to me just he doesn't really do funny well. Like he's had roles where he is funny, like in Men in Black or in Lincoln, but these are a dry sort of humor. Like it's not these aren't comedy roles. They're just roles that happen to have some that have a dry sense of humor, completely different from what's going on here. And it's I don't know what they were doing with this character, honestly. It's just it didn't work.
Yeah, here he's acting goofy and crazy, and it's just not really working.
Jim Carrey as the Riddler, on the other hand, okay, look, I'm not going to criticize him too much for being goofy because that was kind of his whole shtick back in the 90s and to an extent still today. So him being this way doesn't really annoy me, but his character annoys me, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I guess so.
It's like, I just don't care about this character. I don't care about his grievances with Wayne because honestly, it's his fault that things didn't work out with his box or cone, as it were.
Yeah, I agree with you. Even though Jim Carrey does do the goofiness really well, yeah, this character just wasn't very interesting.
We also have Nicole Kidman as Dr. Chase Meridian, another character invented for the movies who, honestly, she doesn't really seem too professional to me. She seems like she just sees Batman dropping down from the sky and says, I'm going to get that Bat D.
Yeah, I didn't think she was a very interesting character.
Like, her whole thing is that she's attracted to Batman and then Bruce Wayne. That's pretty much it.
Yeah, she's supposed to be a doctor, but yeah, she definitely doesn't really act like one.
Chris O'Donnell stars as Robin, Dick Grayson this time, who has a bit of Jason Todd from the comics in his backstory as well, but I'm not too upset about that, honestly. It's just how it is sometimes. You gotta compress characters, and I didn't like him either. He was just too whiny, too just emotional, which, to be fair, his parents and brother did just killed, so he has a reason for being that, but still, I don't care about him at all. He's just a whiny little brat who, for some reason, is living with Bruce Wayne. This is a grown-ass man. Why is he made to live with this billionaire?
Yeah, I don't like this character either, and I did think it was weird that, yeah, he's like 20, upper 20s, and for some reason he's living with Batman.
Yeah, Chris O'Donnell was 25 when this movie came out.
I was thinking 25. So yeah, it's like why is Batman taking in an adult? But oh well.
Michael Gough is in this movie as Alfred again, and thank God you're here. You are carrying this movie on your back, my good sir. I love you. Keep doing what you're doing, sweetheart. You are beautiful.
Yeah, good old Alfred. He's constant. He's good. He's doing what he needs to be.
Pat Hingle comes back as Commissioner Gordon and is back to crap again because he's still just as useless as he was in Batman Returns, if not more so.
Yeah, unfortunately, he is very useless.
Jeez. Okay. We also have a neat little cameo from Jon Favreau. That's kind of neat. He doesn't really do much, but he's there in the background with Bruce at work. Okay.
Sure, yeah.
Okay, so Batman Forever. This is, man. After all I've said, would you believe I kind of like this movie?
Man, I don't know. I guess.
A little bit, I do. It's a guilty pleasure for me. Kind of in the same way that Batman and Robin is. We'll get to that when we get to it. But, man, this movie's a mess, but it's kind of a nice mess.
Yeah, even though it is a mess, I do see how you could have a soft spot for it because it is kind of like an insane level of wacky and crazy. Which in a way makes it kind of like enjoyable. It's just like you're watching something. It's like bad enough that you're like, okay, that it's kind of on that level of funny.
Yeah,
Makes sense.
to me, this movie takes takes all the aspects that make comic books and puts them on the big screen, for better and for worse. You get the big over the top characters. You get the stoic hero who doesn't really emote too much. You get the huge stakes, but they're also not really that huge when you think about it. And you get really all of the all the death traps, all of the comic book hero and villain interactions that you would want to see.
Yeah, that sounds right. Yeah.
But I'd rather watch other Batman movies.
Yeah, me too.
So Jim Carrey helped design a lot of his costumes, which makes sense.
Yeah.
Val Kilmer didn't read the script before he signed on to play the movie because he just wanted to play Batman.
Oh, yeah. That could be a problem.
Nicole Kidman also signed on without reading the script because she got to kiss Batman.
Fair enough, yeah.
Nicole Kidman would later appear in the Aquaman movies as Aquaman's mom, so, Bruce Wayne is, getting on with both Aquaman and Superman's mom, if you've seen Hollywoodland.
I have not, but okay.
Okay. Okay, so Tim Burton didn't direct, but he stayed on as a producer, and he hated the movie's title. He said it sounds like a tattoo that somebody would get when they're on drugs or something some kid would write in the yearbook.
Wow, okay.
That's a way of putting it.
Yeah, definitely.
Nicole Kidman didn't dislike making the movie, but she did say that she wished that Chase had more depth in action scenes. Me too.
Yeah, because she's kind of boring.
She said she would love to do some more superhero stuff where she gets to do the cool stuff. Superhero movie where she gets to do the cool stuff. She did get her wish when she was in Aquaman, though, so... Which is also another character who has a bit more depth than Dr. Meridian did.
Sure, yeah.
Val Kilmer enjoyed working on the movie and everyone involved and would have been interested in returning once the schedule cleared up, but fortunately for him, Batman and Robin continued without him.
Yeah,
Let's see. He was quoted as saying, "I've done an absurdly commercial cartoon and now I'm more likely to get hired for a job I couldn't get hired for before because I hadn't done enough movies. It's so rare when an actor gets hired because he's right for the role, it just doesn't figure into it." And Val Kilmer also says something similar in the movie Kiss Kiss Bang Bang to Robert Downey Jr.
Alright.
He later said that the Dark Knight trilogy from Christopher Nolan was the kind of Batman movie he wanted to make.
Yeah,
There was a lot of deleted scenes. Joel Schumacher wanted to make something somewhere in the middle between this and Tim Burton's dark tone. Not necessarily doing the neon-filled Gotham that we got, but something definitely lighter than Burton's Batman.
So why did it end up the way it was?
Studio executives meddling with the product.
Yeah, should have known.
It's always the same with them.
Yeah, it is.
Okay. Okay. Val Kilmer and Jim Carrey became friends on this set, actually. They bonded over the fact that they both lost their dads.
Oh. Well, at least, yeah, they became friends.
Carrey also became friends with Nicole Kidman on set, which is nice. It's nice to know that they made the best out of this situation.
Yeah.
Like I said, the working relationship between Schumacher and Kilmer was not very good. You could tell due to the fact that Schumacher didn't talk much about Kilmer in his audio commentary for the movie.
Yeah, I guess that would probably be a good sign.
Which Schumacher was said to be one of the nicest directors in Hollywood, despite the fact that a lot of his work got made fun of. And he spent a good amount of the remainder of his life apologizing for Batman and Robin.
What other movies has he done that I've seen?
That you would have seen.
Yeah.
He did the 2004 adaptation of The Phantom of the Opera.
I have not seen that.
Phone Booth.
No.
He wrote the screenplay for The Wiz, the version of The Wizard of Oz with Michael Jackson as the Scarecrow.
Haven't seen it.
He did Falling Down, the movie with Michael Douglas where he falls down.
I didn't see that one either.
He did the movie 8mm, a movie about Nicolas Cage investigating snuff films.
Yeah, so I haven't seen any else of his movies.
The only movies you've seen of his were his Batman movies.
Yeah, all right. I was just wondering.
So Tommy Lee Jones literally said to Jim Carrey that he hates him and that he cannot sanction his buffoonery.
Wow.
Which is, kind of funny considering Jones would spend a lot of his screen time doing the exact same kind of chicanery.
Yeah.
Probably didn't help that Carrey accidentally hit Jones in the nuts with his cane at one point.
Yeah, that probably does not help the relationship.
All right. So Tommy Lee Jones did this role because it was his son's favorite character.
All right, yeah.
Okay. Okay, other actors were considered for roles, of course.
Yeah, and those are?
Ethan Hawke and William Baldwin were both initially approached for a role of Bruce Wayne before Val Kilmer was cast. Now, funnily enough, both of these actors would regret turning down the role and would later voice the character of Batman in animated properties. William Baldwin would play him in the animated movie Justice League Crisis on Two Earths, and Hawke would voice Batman in the animated show Batwheels.
Kind of cool.
Alec Baldwin, Daniel Day-Lewis, Johnny Depp, Kurt Russell, Tom Hanks, Dean Cain, Keanu Reeves, and Ralph Fiennes were also considered for the role.
Very interesting, yeah.
Dean Cain previously played Superman on Lois and Clark. Reeves would later voice the character in DC League of Super Pets. And Fiennes would voice Alfred in the Lego Batman movie.
Nice.
Tom Hanks, though, that would have been a weird choice.
Yeah, I think so, but I don't know.
Robin Williams was offered the role before Jim Carrey was cast.
Yeah, I guess he can do the goofiness just as well.
But he turned it down because he was pretty mad at Warner Brothers for being used as bait to lure Jack Nicholson for the role of the Joker.
Oh, yeah, that whole thing.
Steve Martin was also approached, but he had to turn it down due to his reluctance to make movies after the death of his close friend John Candy and his divorce from his wife Victoria Tennant.
Yeah, fair enough.
Also considered were Brad Dourif, Mickey Dolenz, Matthew Broderick, John Malkovich, Jeff Goldblum, Kelsey Grammer, Phil Hartman, and Michael Jackson.
Wow.
Those are some choices.
That's a wide range, yeah.
Honestly, if we couldn't get Robin Williams in the role, I would have loved to have seen Phil Hartman.
Yeah, sure. I think Steve Martin would have done a good job.
Mel Gibson was originally offered the role of Harvey Dent before Tommy Lee Jones was cast, but Gibson had to decline due to scheduling conflicts with Braveheart.
Yeah,
Also considered were Al Pacino, Nicolas Cage, Robert De Niro, and Willem Dafoe.
All right, yeah.
Leonardo DiCaprio and Marlon Wayans were also considered for the role of Dick Grayson. And the story goes that Leonardo DiCaprio and Chris O'Donnell were the final two for the role when studio execs asked a group of teenage boys who they think could beat the other one in a fight, and they chose Chris O'Donnell.
Yeah. Although I am a Leo fan, he doesn't really look that tough.
No, not in 95.
No. He was still pretty young.
Danny Dyer, Milo Ventimiglia, and Ben Affleck were also auditioned for the role. Affleck, of course, would go on to play Batman in the DC Extended Universe.
Yeah.
Also considered were Alan Cumming, Ewan McGregor, Mark Wahlberg, Toby Stevens, Matt Damon, Jude Law, Corey Haim, Corey Feldman, and Scott Speedman.
Mm-hmm. This is still for Robin, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Rene Russo was originally chosen for the role of Chase Meridian before Nicole Kidman was cast. This is when Michael Keaton was still attached to the property. But when he dropped out, Russo was deemed too old and was kicked out.
Dang.
That's kind of sexist.
Yeah. It's kind of mean.
Robin Wright, Linda Hamilton, Jean Triplehorn, Sandra Bullock, and Cindy Crawford were also considered for the role. Wright would later play Antiope in Wonder Woman.
Yeah, I don't know who that is, but okay.
Robin Wright?
No, the character.
Oh. Wonder Woman's teacher.
Oh, okay.
Aunt, I don't know.
All right.
And one final interesting thing. The wife of late Batman co-creator Bob Kane was actually in the movie. She appeared as the annoying reporter woman who's always excited over Bruce Wayne appearing in places.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I remember her, yeah.
Unfortunately, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, Batman Forever, it's not for everyone. It's kind of not for me, but it kind of is too.
All right, if you say so.
It's a weird contradiction, but look, there's problems with the movie. I know this, and I do have my issues with it, but I can't hate this movie.
Yeah, I know what you mean, because I have the same feeling about the next one.
Yeah. Next is Batman and Robin, the movie that would kill the Batman franchise until Christopher Nolan brought it back from the dead. Here we go.
All right, let's do it.
All right, Batman Forever, the last of the Burton Schumacher Batman quadrilogy, so to speak. It's not really clear if these two movie duologies actually are connected. Some people like to think they are. I am one of them, but the argument could also be made that these are just separate movies, and that Val Kilmer / George Clooney's Batman is just a variant of Michael Keaton's. Whatever, make of it what you will.
Yeah, for me, I really don't care.
Yeah, and this movie is also considered to be the worst of these four Batman movies. Yeah, it is.
Yeah, it's definitely a little rough. I guess you could say.
Yeah, we're not saying anything that anyone doesn't already know. We're just saying it.
Mm-hmm. Yep. It's very I don't know. It's just kind of wild.
Yes, it is. And if it weren't for the efforts of Fox's Blade and X-Men, or not necessarily Fox's Blade, maybe it was Fox's Blade, I don't know, I don't care, then the superhero genre would be pretty much dead when it comes to movies. But fortunately, that didn't happen. But this movie sure didn't help.
Yeah, definitely not.
This movie has George Clooney taking over the role of Batman from Val Kilmer. He and director Joel Schumacher did not get along, so he decided to go in a different direction. Yeah, Clooney was definitely I'm going to say this: Clooney was a good choice to play Batman, but he didn't really do a good job in the movie. I feel like Clooney's natural charisma and just his general good acting ability, to just come out and say it, he would have been a great Batman and Bruce Wayne.
Yeah, I agree with you. He definitely could have been a good Batman, but that's not what happened.
As is, I feel like he made a decent Bruce Wayne. He certainly has a better handle on public relations than Val Kilmer did. And I feel like he's, again, a natural fit for this kind of role. But as Batman, he doesn't really differentiate his performance as Batman from his Bruce Wayne, I feel.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Chris O'Donnell returns as Robin, Dick Grayson, and he is sure a huge dick in this movie. Robin is, I mean, not Chris O'Donnell. All he does is whine and complain and moan, and I don't like this character whatsoever. He's so irritating. It's astounding how bad a character can be taken.
Yeah, he is very not entertaining. Irritating. Sorry.
Yeah, use the right word.
Right, yeah. Very irritating. And he complains all the time, like you said, and he is not fun to watch this time.
No, he's not. We have our big bad, Mr. Freeze, played by Arnold Schwarzenegger, who gets top billing above George Clooney because he was the bigger star at the time, and honestly, he probably still is the bigger star.
I guess, yeah.
I'm of two minds of this portrayal of Mr. Freeze. On the one hand, they do have the correct backstory for him. He was a scientist trying to save his wife after she was dying from a disease. So he freezes her, and then he falls into a whole bunch of chemicals and stuff, and now he's unable to live outside of a sub-zero environment. And, they have that. They have the imagery correct. But, bro, what's with all the ice puns? What's going on here?
Yeah, there is a lot of ice puns. If you're watching this movie to make fun of it, the ice puns can be kind of fun. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, they could.
Yeah, if you watch it not seriously, because it's kind of ridiculous how everything he says is somehow related to ice.
Like, it just doesn't really mesh well with, the image of this guy looking at his cryogenically frozen wife and all of the the mass murder he's planning to do, not just to Gotham but the world too.
Yeah, and then he'll say something like, "Ice to meet you," or something like that.
Like, it's like they wanted to take a Mr. Freeze that would fit in the 60s series, but then also 90s him up a bit with all the dark, gritty edge that could come with it.
Yeah, they definitely don't mesh together.
But honestly, I don't really mind Arnold Schwarzenegger in this role. He does an all right job. He's not horrible. The characterization is a bit weird at times, but he himself isn't doing so bad.
Yeah, I think he could have been a good Mr. Freeze. Maybe, if it had more of the 60s Batman vibe, I think he could have pulled it off.
Like, do it one way or the other. Either have it be, completely goofy, with the 60s series, or completely played straight, like the animated series that this backstory came from.
Yeah. Pick one.
Uma Thurman plays Poison Ivy, the second of our big bad Trinity. And look, this plan that she has with Mr. Freeze, they're going to freeze the whole Earth, and then they're going to have Ivy's plants take over again. This doesn't really... These things don't really mesh well together, I don't think, but maybe they do. What do you think?
Not really. I don't think so.
Yeah, because the ice is going to kill all the plants.
Yeah, so I don't really know why they're teaming up.
And at one point, Ivy brings out this new killer plant she has, but then it just disappears.
Yeah.
It's like fused with some sort of snake or something, but then it's just never really acknowledged again.
Yeah, it goes away pretty quickly.
Yeah, that's dumb as hell.
Yeah.
The last of our big bad trinity is Bane, played by the late Jeep Swenson. Bane's character is pretty ass in this movie. Not gonna lie, Wiz. It's well, here he's just this. He starts off as this prisoner who gets experimented on, which is accurate to Bane's backstory in the comics, I'll admit. But then for the rest of the movie, he's just this mindless goon following orders from Ivy, when that's not really his character at all. Bane is a very intelligent, very tactical, very charismatic at times villain for Batman. He's one of the few who actually figured out Batman's secret identity.
Yeah, but here he is, just like a bodyguard, the muscle for Poison Ivy, and he just does whatever she says. He doesn't really do anything on his own. He doesn't really think, it seems. He just kind of does whatever she tells him to.
He's basically just a walking cinder block, but somehow even more boring than that description.
All right, yeah.
Look, if you want a better adaptation of Bane, go with The Dark Knight Rises. It's not a perfect movie, and honestly, we're not even going to get into the Dark Knight trilogy like I said we would, because we got a lot to do, and next year is going to be the 20th anniversary of Batman Begins anyway, so let's just do it then. Wow, 20 years since Batman Begins. That'll make you feel old.
I guess. I never really watched it, so...
Anyways.
Sorry.
But yeah, if you want a more accurate adaptation of Bane, go there. Look at Batman the Animated Series. Look at the Arkham games. Or just read the comics. Do that. Why am I telling you to watch all these things when you can just read the source? Unless you don't like reading.
Yeah. I like reading, but I do not like reading comics.
Okay.
I just don't think my brain... Well, you know what? I take that back. I had to read a few graphic novels for college, and it was fine. But, I don't know. I guess it's the superhero thing that doesn't really...
What were they, though?
Blankets and Mouse.
I've heard of both of those, and I've read Mouse.
Yeah.
So I guess they know what they're talking about.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. I think that we read a few samples from others, but I don't remember what else. So, sorry.
Yeah, if you are gonna read comics, definitely shop around to see what you like. If you're really a fan of the superheroics, don't really go get anything from Garth Ennis. He's not one to like superheroes. Same thing goes with certain works from Mark Millar. He wrote the comic that Kick-Ass was based on. Point is just look around for what you like. Don't let anyone tell you what you should read. Just figure it out for yourself if you really want to start.
Yeah, and they are very interesting. Like I said, the graphic novels I read were great. I do prefer just books, but yeah, I have fun reading them.
Anyways, let's get back to this.
Yeah, we got distracted.
Alicia Silverstone plays Batgirl, I guess.
Yeah, she's in the movie. Yep.
In the comics, Batgirl is actually the daughter of Commissioner Gordon. Here she's the niece of Alfred. I don't hate this change, but I don't love it either. It's just one that exists.
Yeah, just kind of seems weird because, I like every other Batgirl I've seen is the daughter of Commissioner Gordon. So I don't know why they changed it.
Michael Gough is carrying this franchise on his weak, brittle old British back in his reprise as Alfred. You are just magnificent, good sir. I love you. You are doing the best. I care about you more than anyone else in this whole damn movie. Seriously. Yeah,
I mean, he's been the character to stay with it for, 4 movies?
Yeah, 4 movies at this point.
Yeah, so he's doing great.
Same thing with Pat Hingle, being here since the beginning, but I'm like, Alfred, he is absolutely useless. I hate you.
All right, yeah.
You are absolutely worthless. Gordon, not Pat Hingle. You're doing okay. But Gordon, you are absolutely useless. Why are you letting Batman and Robin do your job for you? I get that they're more competent and all that, but you are absolutely worthless. Get out of sight. Get out of here right now.
Yeah, unfortunately, his character, Commissioner Gordon, is pretty useless. And I think we've said that for, like, the past few movies.
Past 3 movies, yeah.
Yeah, so...
This makes 4.
Yeah. He's not quite there yet.
John Glover plays Dr. Jason Woodrue, and in the comics, he is a character known as Floronic Man. I will double-check that. But, honestly... I don't really mind him in this role. He's pretty fun.
Yeah, he gets killed off pretty quickly, right? He's that guy.
Yeah, he tries to kill off Ivy the same way that Max Schreck did to Selena Kyle back in Batman Returns. Only this time it's not nearly as funny. Well, I guess it is a little funny because he just blatantly says, "I'm afraid I have to kill you now," because you can't be mad whenever John Glover's on screen. He's one of those fun character actors that you just like to watch. Maybe you don't really know his name or anything, but when you see him, you're like, oh, that guy's fun.
Yeah, but yeah, he was fine. Even though his character didn't have too much screen time, he was fine.
Now, this wasn't Glover's first or last DC role. He previously played the Riddler on Batman the Animated Series. He would go on to play Lionel Luthor on Smallville, and he would play Dr. Sivana's father in the movie Shazam.
Oh, okay. Lots of roles.
Yeah, this man likes his DC roles, and you know what? Can't blame him. He's getting that money.
Yeah, can't blame him for that.
Also making appearances are Senator Patrick Lee from Vermont. This was not his first role in a Batman property. He previously had an appearance in Batman the Animated Series. He would later go on to play a guest at Bruce Wayne's party in The Dark Knight, the one who stands up to the Joker and almost gets knifed in the face.
Yeah.
He would return as probably the same character in The Dark Knight Rises, and he would show up again in Batman v Superman as a senator.
Okay, yeah. So he has been in a lot.
Yeah, the man likes his he likes Batman.
I can tell.
Also making cameos are Jesse Ventura as an Arkham Asylum guard, Corey Haim, and Coolio, which I know I just complained about the ice crap and all, but Coolio should have been working with Mr. Freeze.
Yeah, that's even more ice puns. Which, yeah, like I said, in a goofy way, they're kind of funny. So that would have been hilarious, I think.
Yeah, I said I don't like him, but I kind of have a soft spot for him.
Yeah, I do too.
We also found out during the credits that convicted pedophile R. Kelly has a song that plays in this movie, so that's unfortunate.
Yeah. Yeah, kind of unfortunate to hear, which I barely recognize any R. Kelly songs, so.
Well, you can't even recognize "I Believe I Can Fly"?
That's the only one I know.
That's the only one most people know.
Yeah. So I guess other than that, no.
Yeah. Pretty talented, but unfortunately he's a pedophile piece of crap, so he's in prison where he belongs.
Yep.
Anyways, let's get into the less upsetting things. This movie.
All right. We're 16 minutes in, so...
It's okay. Most of the things on this list I already talked about, like Mr. Freeze, Ivy, Bane, Batman and Bruce Wayne, Dick, Grayson, that is.
Yeah. All right. What else?
I'm not sorry about that. Okay, so the disease that Nora Freeze and Alfred have is McGregor syndrome. Now I've heard some people upset about how come Freeze has the cure for it when his wife has this disease, so that he can give it to Alfred so that he can live. I mean, it's made clear in the movie that Alfred has an earlier stage of it than Nora does.
Yeah, so, the movie makes it seem that, Alfred's can still be cured, but his wife is too far past that curing point in their technology day.
Yeah, and I feel like, it took Freeze this long to make the cure for, stage 1. So, at this point, it's pretty much useless to Nora.
Yeah, he needs stage 4 or whatever it is.
Yeah. This is a problem with Victor and Nora Freeze. She's almost always in cryo, just waiting to be brought out. At the end of the Arkham games and Arkham Knight, during one of the DLCs, she is brought out of her cryo, and Freeze is... Well, his suit is failing, so they just decide to die together, which is kind of a bittersweet ending for him.
Yeah, I guess so.
And at one point, Ivy tries to kill Nora, which she blames it on Batman, of course. Which I could believe that Freeze would believe that, considering this Batman has been known to kill people before. We got Michael Keaton and Val Kilmer, who both killed Joker and Two-Face, so sure, whatever.
If you believe they're the same Batman.
If you do, which I do. But you can also, again, believe that these two are just variants.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, up to you, I guess.
Yeah. But fun fact, this disease would also make another appearance in the CW's Arrowverse on The Flash and Arrow. These shows' versions of the Clock King would have McGregor syndrome as well, though in this case it was more of a disease that resulted from drug abuse, which I don't think Alfred was I don't think he was doing that.
No, I don't think so.
Nah. Okay, so another infamous scene in this movie is the Bat credit card that became a really big joke with Doug Walker on the Nostalgia Critic for a while.
I don't know about that, but I thought it was funny.
Well, yeah, online, I mean.
Okay.
Yeah, it was like a running gag on there for a while until he just permanently discontinued it because it can be kind of annoying, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Sure, yeah.
Oh god, just the remnants of late 2000s internet is a Wild West back in those days.
Mm-hmm. It sure was.
Okay, so we've established that this movie is ass. Okay, it is bad. It's not very good. It does have its moments, like with Michael Goth as Alfred. He's like one of two people who are taking this movie seriously. Well, 2.5, counting Freeze at times, and also George Clooney when he has scenes with Alfred while he's dying. But I mean, honestly, I don't really hate this movie as much as maybe people used to.
Okay, yeah.
Well, with movies like Morbius, Dark Phoenix, Jonah Hex, Green Lantern, and Eternals, we've seen worse comic book movies.
Yeah. I haven't seen a lot, but yeah, Morbius made me fall asleep pretty quickly so I didn't watch that one very much.
Yeah. Morbius makes you fall asleep. You stay awake for Batman and Robin.
That is true. It certainly is entertaining, I guess.
And from what I've heard of Madam Web, this is also a lot better than that.
Yeah, I can't give my opinion because I have not watched that yet.
All right, so let's see. Okay. Okay, so infamously, or famously, I'm not sure which one would you rather call it, but George Clooney has he's apologized for this movie quite a few times.
Yeah.
He also really disliked the bat nipples that everyone else has made fun of, as did Chris O'Donnell.
Yeah, the suits were very strange.
Anatomically correct.
Yeah, I don't know why you would include nipples, but okay.
Yeah, we have prominent shots of Batman and Robin's nips, butts, and crotches. Though, to be fair, we also get the same thing with Batgirl, so Joel Schumacher was very inclusive.
Yeah, you're seeing everyone's butt and crotch.
George Clooney has made it clear that he doesn't really like this movie, and it's been rumored that if you meet Clooney and tell him that you saw the movie, he will give you your money back.
Nice.
That's funny.
That is pretty funny.
But he said that he doesn't regret doing it, and this movie he credited it for making him a leading man in Hollywood, as he had previously been a TV actor at the time. So that's nice.
Yeah, at least it didn't hurt his career.
Yeah, maybe you could say without Batman and Robin, we don't get him in Oh Brother, Where Art Thou?
Yeah, and he was really good in that.
So thanks, Batman and Robin.
Yeah, thanks.
He also, funnily enough, between Keaton, Kilmer, and Clooney, he's the second most prolific Batman actor of them because of his cameo as Bruce Wayne in The Flash last year.
I didn't know he was in it.
Yeah, you didn't see that far into the movie.
No, yeah. I didn't make it very far in. I don't know if I fell asleep in that one too or not.
Man, I don't remember that.
To be fair, that whole summer I was pregnant, I was falling asleep every single day, so.
This summer?
Yeah, well, that whole year. It felt like a year, but I guess it was just 9 months.
That's close to a year.
It's basically a year, yeah.
Also, Clooney supposedly keeps a poster of this movie in his home office as a warning about what happens when you make a decision solely for the money.
Yeah, but at least you got money.
Yeah, to quote Michael Caine from when talking about Jaws: The Revenge, he hasn't seen the movie, but he saw the house it built, and it's magnificent.
Yeah. Hey, you gotta do what you gotta do.
I love you, Michael Caine.
Yeah.
Chris O'Donnell was quoted saying, "With Batman Forever, I felt like I was making a movie. With Batman and Robin, I felt like I was making a toy commercial." And yeah, this movie very much feels like it was mandated by the studio to sell toys, given all the alternate bat suits we get, and with no explanation for either. Like, you could probably make the assumption that they're getting these new suits because they're better with the ice and all that, but it's not really explained at all. They just show up in these new suits, like, oh, okay, they got these silver accents and all that, everything. That's fine, I guess.
Yeah, probably a cash grab, so all the little kids go out and buy several different Batman toys.
Although this movie does have a roller coaster at Six Flags in St. Louis, and it's pretty fun.
I just thought it was called the Batman.
Well, it's based off of this movie.
It's this one? Okay. I didn't know that, but yeah, that is fun. It's that, because I used to be terrified of roller coasters. I still am scared, but I will ride them, and it was that roller coaster that changed my mind. And I was like, hey, I do like roller coasters, sort of. But it's fun, yeah.
I'm fact checking myself though, real quick.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't know it was based on this movie. I just thought it was called The Batman, and it was just based on Batman in general. I didn't really know they had specific movies.
Well, yeah, it's all ice themed and stuff.
I guess so, but I just thought that's because he battles Mr. Freeze sometimes, I didn't know it was specifically this movie.
Look, whether it is or not, it's fun.
Yeah, it's fun. Yeah, it's fine.
I'm trying to find some points to give this movie.
Yeah. Yeah. I'll take your word for it.
John Glover said that this movie was bad, but he enjoyed his time playing Dr. Woodrue, which, very clear to see.
Yeah. Yeah, plus he didn't have to stick around the whole movie.
Joel Schumacher was apologetic about this movie, though he never really indicated whether or not he actually hated it rather than just regretted it. But he sounded really resentful for being singled out for the blame for the rest of his career, particularly since he was specifically hired by Warner Brothers to promote toys.
Yeah. All right.
So, once again, Warner Brothers is screwing themselves in the butt just so that they can sell toys.
Yeah.
And then you're letting this poor guy, who is said to be a very nice man, or was said to be a very nice man, take all the blame for it. Yeah, nice going, dicks.
Okay. Yeah.
Same thing happened with Zack Snyder. Same thing happened with Joel Schumacher. It's a raw deal these guys got. Let's see. Somebody asked Val Kilmer if he on a Reddit AMA he did if he dodged a bullet by missing out on this movie. He replied by just saying "duh."
Nice.
Although it seems like none of the cast really regretted making the movie, because from what it seems they had a good time actually making the product. It's just at the end of the day, to Warner Brothers, all it was a product. The people actually making it had have fond memories of their time, but the end product wasn't so great.
Yeah, which I guess that's still good, if it was a good working environment and everyone got paid, so they got their job done, I guess.
A majority of the scenes involving Bruce's girlfriend Julie were cut from the movie, including her death scene. You probably noticed that she just vanished from the movie with no warning.
Yeah, that explains why she's not in the last half.
Yeah, her death scene was cut. She was supposed to be stabbed by poison ivy with the same knife that she used in her fight with Batgirl, but it was cut because it was deemed too dark.
All right.
Like 3/4 of John Glover's scenes were cut from this movie, which is a shame. We need more John Glover in this movie.
Yeah. Why were they cut?
Man, I don't know.
Just for time, maybe?
Most likely. There was a scene where Barbara explains that she's a niece of a family friend and isn't biologically related to Alfred, which explains why she doesn't sound like she doesn't have a dental plan.
Yeah, she's definitely not British, that is for sure.
Now, the 2019 4K and reprinted Blu-ray release removes the Gotham City music video, the song that convicted pedophile R. Kelly did for this movie, after the allegations came to light about his sexual abuse.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, good plan. Though they still have it in the end credits, so whatever. I mean, if you're really watching into that, watching that deep into the credits of Batman and Robin of all things, whatever.
Yeah, they just chose a song that was probably popular at the time.
Well, he made it for the movie.
Oh, that explains the title. I wasn't even thinking. So they just chose a popular guy at the time to make a song. So and it just happened to be a bad guy.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Okay. So, as you saw, Arnold Schwarzenegger had a glowing blue mouth in this movie from all the ice-ness of his biology.
Yeah, he's cold, so his mouth glows.
Now, this was done from literally putting an LED light in his mouth.
All right.
Unfortunately, the LED would disintegrate after around 20 minutes and made battery acid leak into his mouth, which was not a very good experience for him.
No, yeah, I would say that's not very good. That's pretty bad.
Okay. Now, there was supposed to be another Batman movie after this, Batman Triumphant, in which they fought the Scarecrow, but that never came to be, as you know.
Yes. Yep, I can tell.
George Clooney has often claimed that he played Batman as gay when he clearly did nothing of the kind, and I think he was just making a joke, considering all the homosexual overtones of this movie.
Yeah.
Or supposed homosexual overtones. Like, I mean, honestly, I don't get it.
I don't know. I mean, we do see a lot of Batman, but
Yeah, but that's not homosexual overtones. That's just utilizing the female gaze.
it's fair enough.
Joel Schumacher was a gay man, yes, but I don't feel like he really intended this to be a gay movie.
Yeah, I don't think so.
This movie's crap either way, gay or straight.
Yeah. Yeah, sorry. I gotta I don't I don't know what to say. You're right, I guess. Give me that.
Okay. Say something.
Okay. Well, I hope we wrap this up soon because I've been needing to use the bathroom for a while. But I have a lot of stuff on me. I got a baby on my lap. I have 2 drinks in my hand.
Okay. Now, supposedly, it was said that this movie damaged Chris O'Donnell's career. But that's not true, actually. He took time off deliberately so that he can spend more time with his family and raise his kids. He just gotten either engaged or married at the time, and he wanted to actually spend more time with his family.
Yeah, that's fair.
Especially since he had some pretty good success on NCIS Los Angeles.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's good.
Supposedly it happened to Uma Thurman as well, but Kill Bill was just around the corner, so she turned out okay.
Yeah, she did.
I'm finding it kind of funny that we talked about some better movies from George Clooney and Uma Thurman earlier this year, and now we're talking about one with both of them in it, and it's absolute dog water.
Yeah, we talked about those not too long ago, both of them.
No, we didn't.
Yeah. So, kind of funny.
Okay. Now, other actors were considered for these roles, of course. For the role of Batman, to replace Val Kilmer, Kurt Russell, David Duchovny, and William Baldwin were considered. Baldwin was previously approached for the role when Batman Forever was being made. So this guy just couldn't catch a break until he was able to lend his voice to Batman in Crisis on Two Earths.
All right.
Patrick Stewart, Anthony Hopkins, and Ed Harris were considered for the role of Mr. Freeze before Arnold Schwarzenegger was cast. And part of the reason why they cast Schwarzenegger was because, one, they needed someone who could actually wear the costume. This is a big thing. They need a big guy for it. Mm-hmm. And two, well, this kind of goes hand in hand with the other one, but Schumacher wanted someone who looked like they were carved out of ice.
So, muscular?
Yeah, big dude.
Yeah, that would be Arnold.
Julia Roberts, Sharon Stone, and Demi Moore were in the running for the role of Poison Ivy before Uma Thurman was cast.
All right.
Olivia D'Abo was initially offered the role of Barbara, but Schumacher considered her too old for the role.
Maybe. I don't know.
This is an interesting one. Kane Hodder, the most famous actor to play Jason Voorhees, was the original choice for Bane before Robert Swenson was cast.
That is pretty interesting.
Yeah, I think that even though Bane's character was non-existent in this movie, I feel like Kane Hodder could have added a good amount of character, the same way he did with Jason.
Yeah, he could have.
Okay, so early plans for the fifth movie. Well, I said that it was at one point called Batman Triumphant. Another working title was Batman Unchained. And Schumacher was supposed to return with a darker script that was more akin to the Tim Burton movies.
Okay, yeah.
Nicolas Cage was considered for the role of Scarecrow. That would have been a lot of fun. I would have loved that.
Yeah, that would have been cool.
Which, at the same time, he was also supposedly going to be in a Superman movie directed by Tim Burton, but that got canceled.
Unfortunately.
True, but he did get to play Superman later on in Teen Titans Go to the Movies and The Flash.
Yeah. Pretty cool.
Courtney Love or Madonna were considered for the role of Harley Quinn, who was to be rewritten as Joker's daughter, wanting to avenge her father's death.
All right. Okay.
Jack Nicholson was supposed to have a cameo as the Joker, as a scarecrow hallucination.
Mm-hmm.
And it was supposed to be a whole lot darker, a lot more violent, and it would have been interesting, I think.
Yeah, it sounds like it had potential.
And supposedly, Coolio's cameo was supposed to set up the Scarecrow in the 5th movie. So I guess he was going to work for him, or if they were going to have Nicolas Cage as a Scarecrow, maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, I guess there was going to be something a little bit more there, but they never got around to it.
Yeah, so overall, this movie is a huge mess. It's not very good. Some people have a soft spot for it. I have a little bit of one, but not nearly enough to excuse a whole lot.
Yeah, I know what you mean. It's kind of goofy. I do like goofy stuff because I am a fan of Adam West's Batman, and this did have a little bit of that. I don't think it was quite there, but it was close.
Yeah, I feel like it definitely went a bit far in some places, and also in others, not enough. I feel like the constantly clashing tones didn't help either. So this was definitely the shot in the arm of hey, audiences are not going to accept this chicanery anymore that studios needed in order to get what we have now.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Now, all that said, how would you rank these 4 Batman movies?
Okay.
Let's say worst to first.
Okay, so definitely Batman and Robin. The last one we watched, which was Batman
Forever.
Batman Forever. I'm going to say, you know what? I think I honestly had more fun watching Batman Returns with the Penguin.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'll put Batman under Batman Returns maybe. But they're very close, and it's just because I think I was more engaged during that movie.
I feel like for me, worst to first, it goes Batman and Robin, Forever, Returns, and then Batman 89 at the top. These movies just keep going down in quality, which is a shame, but that's the way it is, I guess.
Yeah, I respect that. Like, I understand why Batman would be on top, but I honestly, thinking back, I found it just a little bit more boring than Batman Returns. Don't know why, but that's just how it is, I guess, for me.
Well, it's okay.
Yeah.
Now, that will do it for us. We're probably not going to get into the Dark Knight trilogy, like I said, until next year. As for Matt Reeves' The Batman, if we get to it, we get to it, but if we have time,
Sure, yeah.
Joker 2 just came out. No word on if we're going to do that or not. Again, if we get to it, we get to it, but if not, yeah.
We have very busy schedules now, so I don't know if we'll be able to get to it or not.
Oh, well.
Yeah, we'll see.
We'll see you next time.
Yeah, see you next time.